You have probably seen this painting and been hypnotized by it. The repetition of the number 5 is mesmerizing. The colors are simple. It's a black and white image with a red shape in the middle and some golden numbers. The whole picture is sharply fragmented into different shards as if it was made of glass and got shattered. Every segment has a different tone, adding subtle contrast to the whole artwork, which makes it even more hypnotic. Though we can agree on the fact that this painting is visually appealing, it's hard to tell what's going on. This image, to be understood, needs to be put in context. Its title is I Saw the Figure 5 in Gold, which is the third and fourth line of this poem. Among the rain and lights, I saw the figure 5 in gold on a red fire truck, moving tense, unheeded, to gong, clang, siren howls, and wheels rumbling through the dark city. This short poem was written by William Carlos Williams in New York City and appeared in his 1921 book, Sour Grapes. He wrote it on the street seconds after a fire engine flew past him. 7 years later, Williams' friend, Charles Demuth, decides to illustrate this poem. The lights are shown and so is the figure 5, of course. The red fire truck is somewhat abstractly represented by the red shapes, from which we can decipher a ladder on the right and an axle at the bottom. The movement of the fire engine is conveyed by the repeated number 5, as if by the time you look at the first one, it's already further, and when you see the second one, it's again further. Depicting movement can be hard, especially in a still image, and Demuth tackles the challenge in a very original way. The style Demuth paints in is quite interesting. He was one of the major figures in the Precisionism art movement, which was highly influenced by both Futurism and Cubism. It was the first modern American art movement, and it focused on the new 20th century American landscape. The new factories and skyscrapers were now being the subject of Precisionist painters. But aside from being an illustration of a poem, this painting is a portrait, though not a conventional one. Demuth doesn't paint his friends' physical appearances, as they're not necessarily very interesting and don't really reveal his personality. What he does is paint a portrait of Williams, the poet, by creating a world to his image. Of course, he illustrates his poem, but he also writes his middle name on one of the buildings in the back. Also, more on the personal side of things, Demuth painted Williams' nickname, Bill. This wasn't the first time he painted a portrait of a friend. For example, he also did it for Georgia O'Keeffe, where, again, it isn't the person's likability that's represented, but who they are and their relationship to the artist. Here, we see how Demuth pays homage to O'Keeffe by painting some of her favorite subjects, but he also writes her name by mixing up the last letters, which is just him teasing her for having her name misspelled all the time. I Saw the Figure 5 in Gold is pretty dramatic. It's full of sharp contrast within the shades of gray and with color. And though this is a painting about love and friendship, it's disrupted by the razor-sharp diagonal lines and the contrast, which make it extremely aggressive, almost as if a fire engine interrupted a calm and quiet night. We'd like to thank our supporters on Patreon. If you'd like to become a patron, check us out on patreon.com/thecanvas.